Yes, we are live. Punk Rock Raduno live on Twitch. Second
Ciao.
Worst Raduno presenting Andrea in the house, actually in Scaletta. Hello, Andrea.
Outside of the house. I'm here at the Scaletta Rock Club where I actually work now. And all is well. All is well. But
Beautiful.
I'm sorry I'm working tonight. So I just came by here to say hello to our guests.
Yes, but it's good that you're working back in Scaletta, and it's good. I guess it's good to work in Scaletta in general. How things are going right now, because the clubs and venues and bars reopened, and just tell us something about the feel of Scaletta, and people showing up and finally meeting again and drinking again.
I see people very, very happy to be out of the house and having a drink with their friends. Actually, it is very, very exciting to work in these days. And the club is doing good for these first weeks of opening. We're setting up shows and events. So, no, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Thank you. How are things at Edone in Bergamo?
It's a stormy weather, so we just closed, and that's also why I'm here without having to work. Yes, and it's the first stormy night in a month, and we actually needed it because we had a good run so far. We reopened. We actually opened not only Edone but two other venues, which is Bombonera Social Pub, which is a sports restaurant and bar, and another venue called the Dusty Bistro, which is this old factory that we basically turned into a venue that is going to be, probably one of the next Raduno venues in the future, hopefully. And so things are good. And yeah, a lot of work. And yesterday we had the first big show at Edone, which is Aurora Borealo, which is this amazing performer. And so good. So fun. And he also did a punk record, and it was a sort of a show in between comedy and music, and it was packed. It was sold out, and was a lot of people wrote last night after the show, because there is still curfew here in Italy, so 11 o'clock you have to be home. So a lot of people wrote that they got really emotional because it was the first time they saw a show live after after 18 months.
Yeah,
So for a lot of people was good. And we start to say hi to a lot of people here. Hello, Atina. Hello. Thank you for always being here. Nestor from Edone that is waiting for me to open the door. And there is Groovy Goulette. Thank you for coming. And Vale, thank you so much, guys, for being here. And what else? Andrea, I guess we cannot keep you too much, so I would like to just have you to introduce our guest for tonight, and also ask them the first question, if you can do it.
Okay, I will. Well, what can I say about the next guest? Somebody already knows about it, and you know who knows about it? The people that subscribed to our newsletter already knows that the band and the friends and the guests that we're gonna have tonight are playing the next edition, the Second Worst Raduno.
Yes.
So
correct.
I'm very happy because they're friends, because they're on my label, because they're one of the bands that I like the most in the punk rock scene. We have DeeCracks.
Yes, here they are. Hello, guys.
Hello.
Unbelievable. Here they are.
Grazie mille. Thank you.
Beautiful people I see here.
Two-thirds of the band.
I told them. I mean, they look even better. How they do it?
It's a good light, It's all about the light.
It's all this lockdown, drinking at home, eating unhealthy food, staying up late, watching everything possible on television. Yes, I still watch television. That's what keeps us young, because behaving like a teenager keeps you apparently also young to the outside.
The rock and roll and punk rock keeps you young. But before saying bye to Andrea, do you have a question you want to ask DeeCracks?
I have a question in mind, which is about one of the travels because they did a lot of those, and I heard many stories from them, but I didn't hear much about their trip to Israel. Is that right? You guys went there too?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So that's one thing that I wanted to ask. It is a very unusual question to start an interview with, because
It's also not sensitive at all.
there are
Sensitive topic.
there are more interesting questions like when did you form the band?
Yeah. Why didn't you ask us about the issue with the United States?
Let's please not talk about it. Andrea, are you gonna stick around for the answer also, or are you just gonna ask the questions and then take off?
I'm gonna be here.
You're gonna be here?
I run because I don't care.
No, you can answer.
I can answer. Yeah, you want to hear the answer? So Israel was quite a cool trip, actually. I mean, we were supposed to have 3 shows, but we actually just ended up having 2 because Jerusalem. We were meant to play Jerusalem at first, but it was kind of a tricky time to be there, so we didn't end up playing there. We only did a show in Tel Aviv and Haifa, but it was great, beautiful. When was it? Like late February 2018, and it was freezing cold here in Vienna, and down there we were having shorts on, and like at the beach in Tel Aviv with the best hummus in town from this Argentinian hummus place, in Tel Aviv. Yeah, it was great, and we played a great show there with Not on Tour, this Israeli band that we were friends with, because we played together with them and Descendants here in Vienna, and then had some shows. Like, we met around Europe on different like stages and so on, and then they invited us over, and yeah, that's about it. It was actually a lovely trip, right? I mean, just getting into the country, getting out was a pain in the ass because there was a lot of controls.
I think there's also a lot of differences in between the cities, because Tel Aviv is a very Western-oriented city. It's very modern. Haifa was again a very different city, in my opinion. The show there was also. I can't say much about the show there because it was.
We played this little squad.
It was a squad, and I don't want to get into what happened in the squad because I cannot. I don't want to say this here. And it was a different show. The Tel Aviv show was very professional. It was the place was packed. There was a lot of people there. I remember we had a guy on stage who looked exactly like Joey Ramone, and we played a Ramone song with him, like this little kid.
Oh yeah.
Remember? We played like California Sun,
Yeah.
and he was super excited about it. But he looked exactly like Joey Ramone, and we were like, "Hey, you come up on stage." And he was like, "All right." And then I remember we played the song with him. It was a very professional show. Sound was great. The venue was great.
The only thing unprofessional at that show was us.
Of course. But the second show was a little bit more underground. It was very, very punk, very punk rock. It was not an official show. That's as far as I can go. I can't go any further.
But
I don't want to. Everything is political nowadays. I don't want to get into this political bullshit.
But you want to hear what the funniest thing was? The funniest thing happening on this trip was Paul falling from the stage
first show.
At the first show, like he was just taking a step back because he was asking because we didn't bring gear, right? So he was asking about like the bass amp he was using. And then, like, somebody from the other band was helping him. Nir from Not on Tour, I think, was helping him with the amp. And then Paul just took a step back and just stepped into nothing and fall down from the stage like 1.5 meters or so. And then he twisted his ankle and stuff. And he's like, ah! I still have his pain noises in my head. It was pretty hilarious, shocking, but also hilarious. And then, so they carried him to the backstage, and there was they gave him like 3 shots of vodka or something like that. And then he came back out and played, standing on one spot, just playing the set. It was great. Yeah, Paul, what a trooper, though. He played the whole fucking show. What a trooper.
But I liked it. It was a good trip.
Yeah, it was a good trip.
One thing I remember is driving on the highway and then seeing the next exit was Armageddon. So apparently there's a city called Armageddon. and I was hoping to take this turn.
Yeah, I was thinking of Aerosmith right away.
Nice.
Imagine you live there. So
Andrea,
I
have a news from you, Andrea. You're probably fired by now, so you can stay probably. You're fired. You are probably fired by now, from your job.
No,
So
I'm not. I'm just. I'm sorry, but I'm here in the middle of the street because there is no good connection inside the club. So yeah, I have.
Don't get killed. Don't
by.
get killed.
So guys,
Franz, why do you think that he might get killed in front of the Scaletta?
I have another question for DeeCracks. How excited are you guys to play the second worst Raduno?
Super excited. I missed out last year. He was playing last year all by himself. I can't wait to be back down there. Can't wait for the pizzas and the hamburgers and the tons of beer and all the people.
I can't wait to see you guys.
No, but seriously, there's no.
Let him say goodbye.
Did you say goodbye? You have to go.
Yeah, because
You don't even wait.
Yeah.
You don't even wait for the answer. What kind of job is that? Who are you working for? Stalin?
Bye, Andrea. He's gonna get really fired.
Ciao, Andrea.
Ciao.
Matt, you wanted him fired.
Yeah, because I mean, if somebody asks a question, you wait for the answer.
You're right, but he answered. Mike answered. He's excited. Are you excited? You may.
I answer the question to you. I say that.
Thank you.
Of course, after this break with the band, last show we played last September, and after this break, there's nothing better to get back on playing these live shows as playing the Punk Rock Raduno. I mean, what else can you do, right?
Thank you. And you play and you played last year as well, because you also played the worst Raduno ever. So you probably will play the two worst Radunos ever.
Yeah. So that made me think also. So at the worst Raduno, there was me playing, and at the second worst, there's the band playing. So yeah.
But what about the other two? They were also.
You say something.
It says a lot about my skills.
Whenever there is a worst Raduno,
it says a lot about my skills and what I am without the other people.
No, you know what it says. Because at the end of the day, if I really analyze the fact that we are doing this in this pandemic and stuff, it says that in the moments like this and when you have problems, you hang on the best things you have and the friends you have, and you guys have always been there for us. So it says that we can count on you.
Absolutely.
And so it's
whenever
great
you need, Franz.
Thank you. So
Absolutely.
It's great that you came last year, and it's great that you guys are playing this year, and it means a lot to us. And I mean, it's not it's not the typical Raduno show we want to have. It's like, which is
Sure.
going crazy and stuff. But I'm sure it will mean a lot to a lot of people. I was saying, like yesterday, we had the first big show that they don't have after a while. And people was really emotional about it because, they didn't see a show in 18 months. So I can imagine people that is going to come and see, you and the Apers and Judah and stuff. Is beside the fact that you will have to be seated and, it's the important is the punk rock and the friendship and, your songs.
Absolutely.
And so thank you.
I always sit at the shows, so I don't care. It's not new to me.
We are all
The thing is, it goes both sides. It's not just the Raduno thing. It's also, for example, the importance of, for example, Otis tours, right? And like people that, or not just Otis, also other booking agencies or people that do something on a lower level. I'm not talking about. I don't want to name any names about any booking agencies or any festivals here now. But we know what we're talking about when we talk about punk rock festivals, right? Yeah, when we talk about punk rock festivals in Europe, you have the same lineup all over the place.
Yeah.
From Scandinavia down to Spain. You have the same lineup all over the place, and there's literally no space for let's call them smaller bands, but smaller, you know. So and due to the fact that there's so many festivals, it also makes it quite hard to tour around, because a lot of festivals saying, yeah, you know, you're not supposed to play around there. You know, you're playing this festival, so please don't play a show within this 250 kilometers and blah, blah. It makes it impossible, right?
Yeah.
And but then it's quite interesting and quite nice that you have this kind of festival like Punk Rock Raduno. And out of the Punk Rock Raduno, for example, there came the Puke Fest in Germany.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they were taking, you know, they were looking at your stuff, and they were, or either yours or Monster Zero Mesh or whatsoever. You know?
Yeah, and Lobotomy Fest in Italy.
Also Lobotomy Fest Italy, or and or the This Is My Fest in Paris.
Yeah.
And you know, and this kind of stuff. You know, so you have your little things where you can book the bands every now and then, a bigger band also if they're interested, or if their booking agency allows them to play there, you know. But as a matter of fact, it's more like I mean, Raduno means it means meeting, right?
Yeah.
But what does it
exactly.
mean?
Gather together. Yeah, no, it's a gather together. Yeah, it's a gathering.
So it's like it's a little bit like a high school reunion, family reunion, right?
That's
kind of
exactly
thing, right?
what we were thinking when we formed it, because it was just the idea of the, you know, at the end of the school season, that when you meet everyone and have a big party, we meant that for the, you know, our scene, you know, promoters, people going to shows and bands, just, you know, having, you have been on tour a lot, you know, sometimes you have that typical show at the end of the tour where you meet all the promoters that you meet. It can be a big festival or a big event that you meet, and you seem like you have been past like a season of a TV show, and then at the end there is all the characters, you know, meeting together. It's just like that, you know. The idea of Raduno is simply that. But I'm really interested in what you're saying now, because one thing I always think about the DeeCracks is that you guys are, you know, the reference, you know, a big example of a band that really believe in what you are doing, and you are doing the best you can to make a good name of you for yourself, and good records. You are touring a lot. You are doing everything it must be done to do punk rock right. You know, you're really
isn't that what every band should do?
Yeah, it is. But you guys, you know, you are in the position and you are doing it. And I was always wondering, you know,
why?
You will say, no, not why, but you know, it is really hard right now to accede to the next level. You know, you mentioned the fact that, you know, there is these festivals, which is kind of, you know, a sort of nostalgic and corporate idea of punk rock festival, which is basically, you know, you have the same lineups or the same bands just touring
even you have the same, sometimes you even have the same artwork, right?
Yeah.
I remember we played once at the Punk in Drublic festival, which is this beer punk festival, but done by
NoFX.
Yeah, also NoFX. But here in Europe, it's
oh, you mean Destiny Tour Booking?
Awesome.
Yeah.
And I remember there was the flyer for each festival. Every year it looks the same, and they're just switching the opening bands. The opening bands are local, of course. Every now and then they are local. We were lucky because we were demanded by the arena in Vienna to open. You know, that was the point. You know, otherwise we would have never played.
I remember that. Yeah, you were remembering Punk in Drublic, I guess, was the festival that, you know, they had the same style of the poster, and then they will just change basically the opening bands. You know,
and the date and the year. The date and the year. The poster always looks the same, right?
Yeah. But you know, the thing is that I always wonder is that, you know, it's very hard to become one of those bands that can be headlining those festivals. You know, it seems almost impossible right now. So where do you find the energy and the spirit and the hope to, you know, keep going and going and going and making even better record than the last one and a better tour, and always have energy? Because I know how you can be burned out by touring and by doing records.
Sure. But we miss it though. When we burn out, we miss it instantly also though, you know. And we're doing this for ourselves. We're not doing this to like get somewhere, you know. Matthias is leaving now.
He's leaving now, yeah. After
But we're doing this for ourselves, basically. You know, it's not like we want to be on top of the card on any festival or so. You know, we don't really care about it. We want to be able to like maybe make the festival. You know, but if we have to open, then we have to open. You know, who cares?
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter, and as long as we get to travel and we get to play and we get to meet all these people, you know, like you. Yeah. And everybody else that we came to love thanks to music, you know, and thanks to what we did. And you know, there's people opening doors for us, you know, letting us crash at their houses and whatever. Like those are the ones we're doing this for, not for like any, you know, success or so. You know, it's basically to have these stories and have these connections to people worldwide. You know, I think that and of course, like we have for ourselves, like we definitely want to like keep working, you know, keep it rolling, you know, like not really stopping, you know. It has to be, I don't know, just getting like trying to make the next step for sure, but it doesn't have to be like a giant leap, you know. It just has to be like, hey, it's enough work to keep it going, you know. It doesn't have to go anywhere really, you know.
Okay. So
I mean, we didn't start this band thinking we're gonna make money and this is our job now.
Yeah. But also what's very important is that we were never a festival band. You know, if we have one or two festivals on a tour, that's fine. But we were basically the band that says when we are touring, you play not only on Friday and Saturday, you also play Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah.
You play every night. You know?
Yeah, every day you don't play, you have to pay for yourself. And
but sometimes they say you want to play in our backyard. And say, of course, you know, I mean, what do you have to offer? If you give me 50 euros and we can stay in your basement, then we play. And that's the festival thing was never important, you know. But what is cool after all these years of playing, when you go to a festival, like last year we played at the last show of the last show of the CJ Ramon. No, it's not last year. I mean, I already forgot about 2020.
There was no such thing as 2020, man.
2 years. It's already 2 years ago. The last show of the CJ Ramon tour was at the Rock Festival, and we played really early at this festival.
Yeah, we're like third band at like 2 in the afternoon or something.
Yeah. But the place was packed, but it was quite full.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there was a decent amount of people that came just to see us, you know, and that was comforting, I have to say. You know, they could also say, come on, we want to see Teenage Bottle Rocket for the 600th time, or you know, we all wait for Descendants or Propaganda. But
no, because I can understand that, because you know, when I speak with Andrea or with Luca from Striped, and they always tell me, you know, of course you have like Screeching Weasel and Queers and the Mange is selling a lot, but then the next band is always like DeeCracks, and you build up this reputation and the fact that you now can sell records and now you can bring people to shows, you know, more than other bands. And you did that not only because, you know, you are good in what you do and you play certainly very well, and because you really put a lot of effort in it. So from one side, I understand that you are slowly growing, you know, slowly and surely growing, you know, every step. But at the same time, I can understand how frustrating it must be, you know, to restart and do everything again, you know, record, tour, then record and tour. And
it's
see
only,
a little bit of getting better.
I think it's only frustrating if you feel like this is the record that's going to kick us somewhere else. I don't really think like that, because it doesn't happen. Since 1993, or when was the Green Day Dookie? 1994. It never happened again. There was the last record that kicked the independent band into something else. Right,
I understand. Yeah, so
there was no band after.
Yeah, we never aimed for any success really. You know, it's always been, you know, we knew this music that we're doing was not well liked when we started, and it's not well liked now, and we're still in this bubble. You know,
I see.
Think about it. Is punk rock really music for the young kids trying to do something, or is it more or less a music for 40-year-old guys. Think about it.
Yeah.
When
It's not only that. It's not only a market thing. I think you are good in setting your expectation real. You're keeping your because you can see a lot of musicians setting their expectations really high, even if they can see their music or their market is not popular anymore in a mainstream level.
Yeah.
I understand what you're saying, but
first of all, me as a musician, I cannot decide if what I do is popular or not. That the people who listen to it, the people who buy it, or the people who check it out on the internet or buy the record or whatsoever, they decide if it's popular or not. I am not the one. That's why I also think such thing as an artist doesn't exist, because other people decide if it's art or not. You can do whatever you want, and other people will decide it's good or bad. As soon as you put it out, you have nothing to say anymore. You can say it's my best record ever, and other people will tell you no, it's not. And then I say, okay, if you say so. I mean, they are right. If they are right, but that doesn't mean I listen to them and say, okay, I listen to your advice. I still do what I want. That's my right as a artist, But as soon as you put something out there, you know that yourself. As soon as you put up a show, people will say that was the best show ever, and other people will say that was horrible. There will always be both sides. There will people say I had the best time ever. You set it free. You're a musician yourself. You know it. You released records.
No, of course.
And
I totally understand. And it's good because I honestly the thing that is cool about rock and roll and punk rock is then finding people that inspire you. And you said the other, you guys, with the fact that you never stop and you always go, inspire me and Andrea, and then maybe you're inspired by punk rock Raduno or other stuff, and it's a good circle.
It goes both ways.
Which is important. And but the other fact, I cannot hide the fact that, for example, you guys now are recording a releasing record for a really good label in America, and I'm always shocked by the fact that the growth of this scene is really slow. It's like I see bands that suddenly become popular and stuff like that, but still you have to put so much effort for a little bit of result. So sometimes I always wonder, but I think in the same time we are lucky because we are talking about punk rock Raduno, which is going well, and you just released a new record during the pandemic, and the next question is, how was it hard to release a record during the pandemic, and which kind of expectations you had and which kind of results you had?
It sold out. That's a good thing.
Yeah, it sold out fast. The good thing is the first press sold out really fast. Like on release weekend, Pirates Press wrote us, "Hey, can you send some of your copies back to us because we're running out?" And because they thought we're not gonna sell them because we don't have any shows, but we sold some within Austria also. Like we had this like like our own version, like the splatter one. That only we had, so we were sending them out also, and so it's been
1,000.
1,000 copies were out there, and that's usually for Sonic Delusions we had to tour a whole year and play like 60-70 shows to get it out, and I mean that's just been very wonderful and great to see, and thank you everybody watching and listening for buying it, because this was really nice. Because we couldn't, usually we travel from city to city and like bring the records to people, and we couldn't do this time. And we did some more like into promo, we posted a lot more and like had like those music videos and whatever, like we were trying to use the time that we had on our hands that we usually would spend touring and use it for different kind of projects to reach our audience or to, keep the ball going. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's fun, it's always the happiest thing to work with this band and work with our music, so it makes our life, worthwhile. So, I can't just stop it, or I can't not do it. And I'm sure he can't also, like that's what drives us.
Yeah,
But it wasn't
because. But yeah,
Yeah.
go.
No, go ahead. Say it.
No, because I hear a lot of bands here that use the pandemic as a sort of, pardon me, excuse for either not releasing records or because they didn't put much effort in promoting it. For example, they say like, oh, the we are not going to release the record because of this, or we cannot sell any copy because of the cheers guys, cheers. And
No, but we were planning to release the record way before the whole pandemic thing started. You remember you were in Vienna when we had the Sweet 16 Fest,
yeah, of course.
when we did the jacket thing and all the stuff, and
Yeah.
this was for us. This was the end of 2019 already, even though it was September. But for us, it was like, okay, it was a hard year. We did tours in Canada, in Europe. We went to Russia. It was a stressing year. So we said, okay, everybody is a little bit burnt out. So let's focus on a new record. So in September 2019, we said, let's do the new record. And of course, then in January, February 2020, the whole thing started. We already had the studio booked for May, I believe it was, 2020.
We got lucky there also.
And it was right around the time. I mean, I was writing on the record. I was sending it to everybody. And the first time we practiced for the record once or twice, actually, 2 weekends.
Yep.
2 weekends, yeah. Which is one more often than
one
usual.
more weekend than usual. and the lockdown was over, and we went to record it. And I said, okay, now we have it. Let's put it out. Because at this time, in May 2020, it was like up and down, lockdown off, lockdown on. It was always back and forth. It was like a mask on, mask off, mask on, mask off. Show, you can go, you can't. You can't. We were like, okay, how long is this going to go? Maybe it's going on forever, so how long should we wait? Let's just do it.
Yeah.
And see what happens.
And it's actually, it was quite okay to do it, or like it was good too. I mean, there was just a lot of space for new music, because everybody keeps their records on the shelf and just trying to get them out whenever they can go out and play also. But we're gonna get lost in the mix there. We thought also, if we're gonna put the record out in September now and everybody starts touring again or so, let's say, and then everybody's putting out records there, like we're just one of those records, Our record had like a good way to breathe, so sort of, and people were desperate to have something new to listen to too, at least.
Exactly. I mean, I experienced that as well. I bought way more records during the pandemic, and I listened to way more music. And I was waiting for the Friday for the new releases on Release Radar or stuff like that, and people releasing stuff, because I had so much time. And now that things are reopening, I really have a hard time keep up with the new releases and new records. It seems like, I don't have time anymore to even watch the new Loki or the stuff, because, you have so much things to do. So hopefully it's not going to be like September, October, people is going to, tour again. And then you have to choose between too many options on too many records, because we had so much time, to and the other side of it is this, you tour a lot, but you also put a lot of effort in promotion and also this sort of marketing of the band, punk rock marketing, which is, you created your own, series of interviews or podcasts, and then you post stuff, you do, color editions. Is this a sort of new way of do it yourself? Because I always wonder, there is the touring part, which is always going to be the same, but there is also the fact that you have to be present online. You have to invent new stuff to keep that tension.
Yeah. I mean, that's sometimes tough to do, but last year all we could like do on our social medias and so on was look at the past. Hey, this happened today 5 years ago. This happened today 10 years ago, or whatever. Those were the only posts we could do. Luckily, we wrote some new songs, and hey, we're in the studio now, and this is the.
And I met. We need you. We need you at least for one more Raduno.
Sorry, I had to laugh about this, because as if we would ever do that.
What?
Hey,
yeah, that's how I read my postings. If I do postings online, I'm like, "Hey, people, what's happening?" Yeah,
I read the post like this. Hey, we're in the studio right now.
yeah, of
Recording
course.
a new record.
Yeah, it's a personality thing, I'm sure.
Sorry.
Yeah. So what was I saying? Yeah. No. So that's at least we had some stuff that we could sort of promote, and do. And I kind of lost my train of thought.
But can I say something about this?
I mean, the thing is that it seems like I don't know if you have the same feeling. Sometimes people release records, and then the lifespan of the record is just as much of 1 week, and then the record is already old. Unless you keep promoting, putting out new singles, videos, interviews, and then you can make the life of the record larger. But it seems like things are getting too fast sometimes.
Yeah,
exactly. It's exactly my thought. And I was thinking the other day, imagine it would have always been like this. Would there ever be a Pet Sounds, or would there ever be a Beatles White Album if there would be social media at the time? They would be like, did you hear the new Beach Boys Pet Sounds? 1 week later, it was great. It was already old.
That's so like last
week.
The
question is, could we ever have, or the Weezer Blue Album, or Nirvana Nevermind, or whatever you want to name it, your Ramones Leave Home, or whatsoever. Could this ever happen? Because now it's really, really fast, right?
Yeah.
And my fear, and I don't know, what one thing we didn't do in this pandemic thing is a live stream, like a show.
Yeah.
Because for a reason, because I think a show is a social event, right? A show is everything. You go to a show, you meet the people, you hang out, then the band is playing 45 minutes, and then you're staying hours after, right? You're not just going to the show and go home like in a movie.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
That's why I was always against a little bit doing this live streams, because of course it would be nice for people to see, but you can't. It doesn't work.
Yeah, it's not the best fun.
It doesn't work.
And we had
either you have an evening. You did the same thing with the Raduno last year when you did the stream. You were also walking around talking to people and capturing the feeling of the festival, right?
The atmosphere,
and not just filming the bands and then cut it, and next band and cut it. You also did it in between, right? So the people had a little bit.
There were some events. I totally agree with you. I mean, but at the same time, that's the way we live it. So sometimes I remember there were some live streams where I was really desperate at home, lonely, and with nothing to do, and suddenly that live stream, the Weezer live stream, the one for OK Human came out, and watching it got me really emotional. But you're right, it was a little bit cold anyway. But there were some others, like the Lookout Zoom Out thing, the first one I attended, and that. Just the fact that to watch people connected with all the small screens and getting people emotional, that gave me the sense of community. So I'm with you. The thing, I think the atmosphere and the community part of the subculture we are in is the most important thing, and not only the music and the fact you're watching a show. Otherwise, you have a record. And I think people forget that there are records, and the records can bring you in a place and time and spirit and mood, anytime you want.
What we actually did also in December was have like an advert calendar kind of thing, where on our YouTube channel we were just posting like live videos from all kinds of shows over the last like 10 years or so that we never put online. It's not the best quality, but this was like more of our approach of like having a live stream or so. That's what we didn't do. And then we were also focusing on like doing music videos for the record, to like help promote it and like get those songs a little more elevated, or whatever you want to call it.
Usually we wouldn't do that. Usually we would go out and play.
Yeah, totally. We're not a music video kind of band usually, and now we had like 6 for this one. But it was worth it. And should I let the cat out of the bag Franz, should I let the cat out of the bag?
What's the cat?
we just shoot another live session. We did one in we did one in 2011 for attention deficit disorder. We did one in 2017 for Sonic Delusions, and now we just recorded one last week or 2 weeks ago.
That's what we did.
That's what I did. That's what we did, and it's coming out on June 27th, Sunday, June 27th.
Beautiful. June 27th, new recorded stream. No, what do you call it? Live video, live.
It's a live session. Like we just play new songs.
The other ones were perfectly done. Like really good sound.
We're mixing it now and cutting the videos and
we were just going to the studio and playing some new songs live, 10 times faster.
And
a little bit of off the edge singing here and there.
Well, we should do these kind of live sessions like after like touring, or like after we've played those songs live for like a year would be probably a little bit better. But anyway.
No, but Franz, I want to get into something that you said before about the subcultural thing of the touring stuff. That's the thing about the punk rock Raduno, because all the people, not all of them, but most of them that I met on a tour, I meet them all together at the Raduno. That's a cool thing, with no responsibility, because I usually meet them, they are running a venue somewhere in northern Germany or in England or in France or whatsoever, and of course there I am to play a show, so I have a little bit of responsibility, so I have to do so. But then you meet at Raduno and you finally, I know you from here and here and there. That's the kind of meeting thing, right? That we were talking about.
And you see
everybody stays for the whole weekend.
But this is not the same that you can get on a live stream just when you meet in the chat after and saying you know me and blah, blah, I know you. And that's, it's not the same.
You're right. And he's right. And there are other occasions where I totally understand what you're saying. Like for example, for me it's the same at the Get Lost Fest in Hamburg, and how people can get crazy in Hamburg, in particular in Get Lost. So
nothing crazy ever happened in Hamburg.
In the garage scene, I see
always. Jens is a total scene person.
Jens is totally insane.
I always see all the promoters. I always see all the promoters in the garage scene in that fest, and I see them in a light normally, really organized, the German promoters and stuff, and they're really serious. And if you are not in time, you are late. And
they're not Italian.
And then you find them in the bathroom or doing drugs or going crazy in the dance floor, and you see them in a totally different light. And you say, now I see you for real.
But really, is Jens organized outside of the Wild Wax?
I think he's pretty organized.
The last thing I remember about Jens.
Well, can I say that? I don't know what you want to say.
The last thing I remember about Jens when we played at the Molotov in the basement in Hamburg, and in 6 a.m. we were walking back to his place, and he was carrying this chili pot, and we were walking through St. Pauli, and it was like a war zone. From all sides, there were people like,
everybody wants that chili.
But he was walking through this pot, just following me, and we were like behind it. It's like.
For those who doesn't
very
know,
organized.
Jens is a fantastic promoter out of Hamburg. Like he's probably putting up shows since 25 years. He's putting up Get Lost. He's putting out, and I tell you guys, I did a road trip in America.
Well, Jens was also Raduno, right?
Also, he helps Raduno. But did you know that me, Jens, and Jeff from Radioactivity and Marketman did a road trip together? Can you imagine the three of us? Yeah,
I would love to be there.
Yes.
No, but
they said Vegas. There's something keeping us from doing it.
I would have loved to be like a little fly on the wall.
Yes.
With Jeff Berg, Jens, and you. This must be the best thing ever.
Yeah.
No.
We only went to do tourist stuff. We went to to Mexico. We went to Mexico. We went down to Mexico, the three of us. And no, actually, Jens.
Did you make it over the Trump wall?
Yes, I did. Yeah, jumping. Yeah, because I'm Italian, so they treat me
Yeah.
the same.
High jumping Italian.
But by the way,
Yes,
Franz,
exactly.
now that we mentioned Jeff Berg, is it now time to announce that Markman will play the second worst Raduno as well?
No, I wish, but believe me, one day we will make our dream happen, and Marketman is gonna play Raduno.
Markman and
I can
Weezer.
guarantee you. I can guarantee you. I don't know about Weezer, but Marketman, we have been so close many times, and one day we will make it happen.
That would be the coolest. That would be the coolest band ever to play at the Park of Raduno.
I'll make sure I don't book a DeeCracks show on the same weekend and that we'll be there.
No, you have to book the DeeCracks show with the Marketman.
Yeah.
In the same.
That's what I was going for, actually. Thank you.
Yeah,
You were saying it. You have to do it now.
No problem. So first of all, if you guys, a lot of people chatting in the Twitch chat. If you guys have questions for Matt and Mike, please. I want to go into, like you mentioned, the fact that you should be rehearsed before recording a live. But I want to go into a thing with you guys because we just released and sold all the copies for this one. Exactly. The
This one
live
the
at
same.
Bangkok Raduno. Yeah, it's the same. Maybe not the different color, but. This was a big success because we released it around the time you did, your newest album. We also did this live recording, and I tell you this doesn't come from me. Okay, it comes from the guy who recorded this, which is my brother, and the guy who mastered it, who doesn't know you at all. And they both said of all the 25 bands they recorded during the weekend, you guys were the one that played the best. That
Really?
you were the tightest one. So you really surprised me when you went into the dummy room or another podcast and you said like, "Oh no, we played so shitty, but it's okay." But you guys,
it was the first show of tour. You know how first shows of a tour go. You don't.
Yes.
Everything's kind of. I'm not sure if
humble.
this is what it is.
No, but it's not a humble thing. It's also the fact that we didn't know that it's going to be recorded. And if I would have known it's being recorded, when you play live, you also try to put on a show. You try to do some stupid stuff. Either you jump around or you move or you do weird things.
Yeah.
How
bad do you do?
And if I would have known it's being recorded, but then it probably might be a little stiff, to try when you record. But then it's unfair to the people in the audience because the people in the audience, they don't want to see a band just standing there and looking down on the guitar all the time, They also want to be affected by it, right?
Yeah. But I mean, that's the good about this, that you didn't know because you were real and you can feel it in their live recording, in my opinion.
I'm happy people enjoy it. Nobody's talking bad about it online or so. Not that I've seen it. So
I have a good time. I have a good time listening to the record.
Me too, because
it reminds me of the show.
Yeah.
It reminds me of the 45 degrees on stage and the sweat running down my face, But
I don't understand. I don't understand this question that comes from David. I need to know what's the reference with the DNA collector from. What you're talking about in the beginning of the live. Yeah, a lot of people is asking about this. Can you?
The DNA collector from Bergamo. You're saying this on the live record.
Yeah,
apparently.
Why not?
Who did you mean there?
I think I was. Wasn't I? Didn't I say it? I was referring to. So I can tell you. It's I was referring to.
I know what it is. I know. I discovered after many months what you're talking about.
I was talking about a woman called Michelle Hunziker.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Who is actually from Switzerland. But me and Vale, my girlfriend, we have this running gag. Every time we come into Bergamo, I'm always asking her, "Is this the hometown of Michelle Hunziker?" And she always tells me, "No, it's not." So I was actually making this joke on stage and I was actually looking at her, So I was referring to her. And with the DNA collector, I was referring to her for her. I think wasn't she like a groupie for Eros Ramazzotti?
She was his wife.
She was,
pretty much a groupie.
But in the beginning, she was a groupie.
Probably.
So she caught him, she got pregnant, so she caught his DNA.
Yeah.
So that's what I was referring to for her being the most famous DNA collector.
It's a very good way to say that.
You know?
But anyway, actually, she lives here in Bergamo. She lives in Old Town.
I know it. I knew it. I knew it.
And wait. You know, her daughter always come to Edone.
No
So,
way.
you know,
Tell them we're playing at Raduno this year, and she should come.
What's the name of the daughter? I knew the name of the daughter.
She's actually really beautiful.
Amalfi or something like that.
What?
What's the name of the daughter? Something
I
with
have
an
no
A.
idea. I don't know.
Okay,
But you know more about these.
Amalfi Ramazzotti. Something like
I'm
that.
always shocked that you know these things. I mean, I'm always shocked that you know, just like
I watch a lot of TV.
references. Yeah, no, I see. That's beautiful.
You know, don't think
That's
don't think that. First of all, Michelle Hunziker is a huge star in Austria and Germany and Switzerland.
Really?
Yeah,
No.
absolutely. She was
Surprised
She
in
was
every
into
fucking-
a sort of how do you call
sect.
it?
A sect.
Yeah,
I know
exactly.
that.
Exactly.
I know that. Yeah, it was a huge. She was in every TV show here, and the Italian pop music from the '80s is as famous as the German pop music from.
Wasn't
the 80s
she?
here.
Wasn't she like hosting some show here
Yesterday,
too? 'Cause
yesterday
she knows German.
Yesterday I
right?
watched a Schlager show.
Why?
I don't know. And there was Albano and Romina Power. They were singing together, and I thought they hate each other, but they were sempre, always and always, forever and ever.
Yeah.
We have many questions here. How does it feel to be on tour when you are 40? Better or worse than 10 years ago? People
Who is
rise
this?
and
My girlfriend?
no.
Klingse.
Many questions here. Klingse.
I'm not 40 yet, so you know. Are you 40, Matthias?
We were just talking about this earlier when we were talking about the planning for the next year, and I was saying I have to set some rules about touring when I'm over 40. I'm now 41, which means next year I'll be 42. And I said there has to be some things, but in the matter of the moment, I probably forget about it and I don't give a shit. So it's probably the same as always.
Yeah,
I guess.
I mean, for a professional teenager
I
like you,
like to know, for example, where I'm sleeping, and I like to know where I'm going. The adventure stuff is still interesting. There's still a lot of countries that we didn't go to, and I would love to, but I can't.
Which one the most? Which is the country you want to reach now?
Australia Australia is a number one country that I definitely want to go. Argentina.
Yeah,
is almost even.
Yeah,
right?
I would say I have a thing for South Africa too. Maybe that could work.
Yeah, South Africa was in the talks with CJ.
Yeah. So ever since then, I'm like, why not? You know, I mean, we'd love to play everywhere, really. You know, but let's see.
Yeah. But
imagine we could go
it,
to South Africa with CJ Ramon, playing for a bunch of Germans there.
But I like the part of this question where they say like better or worse than 10 years ago, because I always think about myself 10 years ago when I was touring, and it's not just a thing about, you know, having more energy when you were like 20 or 30.
10 years ago it was easier to put up with things,
it's true,
but
Franz.
now it's like we're 10 years, you know, ahead of it too. Like there's more comfort coming because we done it for 10 years. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Don't you think that the fact that you toured so much basically set you an alarm to not what to do? You know when things are getting hard.
Tell us about it. How long are you touring now? 20 years also?
Yeah, but I started when I was 17, so 20, exactly.
Yeah, so you tell us, because you as a tour manager, not just being in the band, but also as a tour manager or as the tour nanny, let's call it. You have way more to do than the band. Let's face it, right?
Well, it depends by the band. You know, there are some bands that tour manage you sometimes. You know,
most of the time you are the one in charge.
Yeah,
when we, for example, we bring a driver on a tour, the driver calls the shots. You know. When
Yeah,
he
yeah, it's
says,
true.
I want to drive, I want to go home now. Yeah, of course,
I'm calling the shots.
of course we have to.
No, but,
Of course we have to follow.
Yeah, of course.
You know.
But the fact
Of course.
to be an expert, to have more, let's put it in this way, those players that they are not fast anymore or young anymore to be, on top of the game in a sort of physical level, but they are so smart and they understand the game. They're understanding where the ball is gonna be, and they anticipate the others. They are gonna be in the right position. So I think it's the same with touring, because you have been so many times in bad places, you have been so many times in trouble that you can prevent it because you're already, and I'm sure it's the same for you.
Absolutely.
Know the guy not to follow, to go to sleep,
Yes,
or when the situation is going to be.
You live and you learn, right?
That's exactly what I was saying before about my rules for the next tour. Is I don't want to sleep in private with people that I don't know.
Yeah,
because I don't want to end up again when somebody gets me to the basement and then there's a pile floor and saying that's where you sleep. That's where I usually keep my dead donkey, but I just put it out so now you can lay down there,
Yeah.
And it's like we had this, It was like, well, I thought you were a punk band.
It's about time, Mike. That bite. It's about time.
But we had that. I thought you were a punk band. So you
sleep on the floor. This is exactly another thing that pissed me off. The fact that we are all punks. I think we can define, a little bit what a punk in Europe can be in a little bit of amount. And sometimes people just try to use the word punk or do it yourself or alternative just to force you to think that you have to suffer or do the things not right. There is nothing about punk about suffering or slipping into shit or not having to care about other people. Because we all know that the real punk promoters they take care of you.
I think a lot of people are defining punk in a way that punk always for a lot of people punk means to be against something. You always have to be against something, right? While I, in my opinion, and I think a lot of people agree with me when I say that punk means just that you do what you feel is right, but you also feel what's right for the other people. But a lot of people seem to think punk means you have to be against this and against this, no matter what they say, no matter if it makes sense or not, but you just be against it. It's punk. It's bullshit. And when somebody tells me, "Oh, you're a punk band. You're not supposed to sleep in a comfortable bed. You have to sleep on the floor like a fucking animal," then I say, "No, it's not punk. It's stupid." It doesn't. But we had this occasion quite often,
Yeah, I also like the
argument about punk at 4 a.m. next to a fucking oven where the cat was pissing into it and the whole place was smelling cat piss. And I had to argue with the person what's punk and what's not, to sleep there or not.
I also like the discussions about not wanting to party tonight.
Yeah.
Can be like, hey, but you guys are like, aren't you guys, living? You guys don't like it here, aren't you guys living a dream? It's like, it's like it's not that. We have to like play and drink every day, and they just have this one day with us, so
it's true.
Yeah, but this I understand still, but also it's like a discussion I actually don't want to have because it's like
it's true.
Usually when I can't party,
the name of the Ramazzotti Unziker daughter. I think it's Aurora. I think that's what Aurora.
Aurora.
Sure. It's a beautiful name, Aurora.
Aurora, like in the Wayne's World movie.
Yeah, Aurora, Illinois.
Yeah. But this is a problem with touring bands. I have the same with some. You don't have that with higher level bands or the bands that they get paid actually a lot because they can afford like hotels and stuff like that. But with bands, for example, like Radioactivity that we mentioned, there's people thinking about, oh, you're a punk band because you play punk, then you can sleep on the floor. Even if you bring 300 people at the show and you make everyone happy with the turnout and the money and stuff, you still have to suffer. You still have to eat the shit and you still have to be on the floor. And sometimes it's hard to make them understand, well, it's not that we want the Paris Hilton hotel. We just want a room with, a bed. And we don't want to party you all night on Monday night with the Coke and stuff. I mean, we appreciate you want to spend the night with us, but for us, it's we can party, but we are not party animals anymore. It's like it's not that we. And I'm sure you have been.
It's
in
not
that
about the party; it's about knowing the next day in advance.
I mean, I can picture, or I know I could see that higher level bands have other problems. They just have the problem that the fans are not accepting the person not to be 100% theirs. For example, when they see them outside the venue, I remember we played with CJ in Hamburg at the Hafenklang. And there were some fans standing outside with records, like Mondo Bizarro record and stuff. And I was going outside, just to get some fresh air. And they were always like, "Hey, can you get CJ to come?" And every time I was like, "Yeah, I can see what I can do." So I was actually going to CJ and saying, "Hey, there's some people standing outside. They are waiting." And he's like, "Yeah, I see what I can do." But on one point, he also said, "You know what? I can't. If they want me to, I can't just follow. If I don't feel like, I'm still, he's still entitled to do whatever he wants." But of course, then at some point he thought, okay, I'll go outside. But also after the show, the people don't understand, why is he not talking to us? What's wrong with him? So
you're allowed to have a bad day too.
Absolutely, absolutely. But you're also entitled to live your own life. You're not. Of course, the music is belongs to the people. As long as we said before, as soon as you do the music, it belongs to the people. But you personally, you're still yourself, right?
Yeah.
So
beautiful.
You can't really say, okay, this is my new record. That doesn't mean that I'm all yours. Take me apart. You know what I mean?
And people change too, because we know a lot of people that they were party animals, but then 10 years later, they cannot, keep up with the party or with the same, maybe they have families or they have like. No, I'm not talking about. Maybe.
No, you're talking about us.
John,
please talk about us so people know.
I mean, of all the people I can mention, like John is not a good example because John never aged. Can still keep up with. I actually have a good story about this. Like the other day, I went to this new venue we opened, and there is this girl, like really young and really beautiful, and
in
Bergamo? She started talking with me. Yeah, in Bergamo, and she started talking with me, and then she's probably 17 or 18, and then she told me like, "Oh, I know who you are because my flatmate." Is friend of yours, and I was like, who is your flatmate? And it was John. So like John is living with these really young people and they are partying and she told me the big difference, and she's like 17 and 18 again, like she's like, oh, before my life was party, but now I drink every night, I party every night. So he's a good example of people that can keep up with with.
I'm looking forward to seeing him again at Raduno. Is he coming? He's probably coming.
He's gonna probably coming. He's actually having a really good career in driving. He have a beautiful van.
Are we talking about
John? John Terrible. I call him John Terrific.
Yeah, we're talking about the same guy. Yeah.
Okay.
He's doing the driver
John from the CJ tour.
Oh no, not our John. He's a great John also.
Okay,
he's
John Terrible.
John Terrible. He's having a career in the business of he's driving models and people in the big
driving them insane.
I think he's always been driving himself insane over the years.
Probably.
I love it though, great guy.
But, I have another question for you because. And then, again, guys, thank you so much for following us. We are talking with DeeCracks, and we just announced that DeeCracks are going to play the 17th of July, Second Wars to Raduno together.
Is it Friday or Saturday?
That's their thing.
Is this a Friday or a Saturday?
It's a Saturday. Yes.
A Saturday.
You're playing Saturday. Yeah, and
on the big stage?
On the big stage, correct. And live stream too. So, and you're going to be recorded. So maybe we can do another one of these ones.
We already freaking out because we can't play this set list now anymore thanks to you because you put it out.
Yeah, you're welcome. But I was shocked how fast this went. They they just disappeared, as soon as we announced them. So
How many were there?
not too many, 300, but 300 of a live record on LP. Come on,
it's pretty good. Yeah, thank you all for buying.
No, and we have to thank Lucrezia for the artwork and Bruno for recording.
Cool.
Absolutely.
So, I like the fact when it's going to become a series and all the punk rock Raduno live recordings have the same artwork.
Yeah,
maybe someday there will be a box like a box set.
Correct.
Would be nice.
I agree. You know what, Matt? I talking about box sets. I just bought for no reason. After I bought the LP already, the vinyl LP, I got the box set of Van Weezer.
Yeah, I love it. No, I didn't. I didn't buy the box set. I just bought the plain record because here in a record store we couldn't get the limited edition box set. But I love it.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah, no, me too. And that brings me to the next question, because I know you guys listen to a lot of music, and also you, Mike, work with many different artists and a lot of different music. And you're an encyclopedia of music, songs. You like all the rock and roll. You like a lot of stuff. So always interested to know, you keep the DeeCracks formula really, understandable, really iconic. Sometimes does this feel like a cage? The fact that, DeeCracks, what people can expect from DeeCracks, you have variation, you have like an instrumental songs in the new record, you write really good songs. So, but at the same time, did you ever had the idea of changing the formula, just like Weezer does? They do like an electric record and then they do an acoustic record and stuff like that.
First of all, does it? Yeah. What say? Does it?
No. It's like, are we gonna expect an instrumental record, or are we gonna expect something like different in the future, or you want to keep the formula straight like that?
Well, first of all, can I say? First of all, to get on the Weezer thing, I was really stoked on the Weezer OK Human record.
Yeah.
Because the formula, as they did it, was great. But I have to say, I was a little disappointed by the songs.
Okay.
I think it was not the best songwriting.
Okay.
Because I think they could have made much better songs that fit on this formula. Like the way I was reading about it, they were trying to do something like Pet Sounds, like this all analog kind of stuff, And I was thinking, okay, this is good. And when I read about this, I thought this is going to be amazing. This is going to be the record of the last 30 years, the best record of the last 30 years.
Ever.
I thought so, but I was a little disappointed because the songs were, I don't know. It was not. It didn't really.
Yeah.
I didn't really feel it. Right.
Yeah. You expected better songwriting, or you think Rivers can do better?
Yeah, absolutely. With there's people like Rivers, like Jeff Burke. These are people that are very emotional with their songwriting, and this is something that I look for with songwriting, right? So they never disappoint. The Van Weezer record is great. I love it. But I was just a little disappointed with the OK Human record. I was wishing for it to be better. But let's get on the other stuff with the DeeCracks stuff. So
actually, we have a comment that I want to know. Athena was in a Weezer video once. Athena, can you tell us which video and where you were? So you got us curious because as you can see, both me and Matt are huge Weezer fans. Like
which Weezer video?
Yeah, exactly.
Buddy Holly too.
Let's see. Yeah. You're going to the other point. Go on.
And the point that you say, even though we listen to a lot of different music, I personally think, we all grew up with this punk rock stuff, right?
Yep.
And I think that it's the most fun to play, to perform, to write, and especially to perform live, because that's always the main goal. The records are just a part of it. The band is a live band. We played like 1,000 shows and we released 5 records. So you can tell what's more important, right? You know. And so what's the most fun to play? I mean, at some point I was thinking I would love to play in a beat band or a surf band or you know, but I can't. We can't. It's just not natural. It has to sound. It has to sound real. It has to sound natural.
Yep.
And this is the punk rock thing. That what it is. You know. Even if I don't.
It's easier to listen to music than to play it.
even if I don't sit at home and listen to Riverdale's that often anymore as I used to when I was 20 years old, but I still, every time it's on, I still, you know, being taken back to a certain times again. It's still great, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm still being reminded of it. Or you know, you listen to Ramones every time when it's about to when we say let's do a Ramones record. I always start listening to this music again, so get into the mood. You know, I always put on "Storm the Streets" at home, and I sit and then I watch some Ramones live videos, or I listen to Leave Home and Pleasant Dreams and all this stuff. You know, to see and then you know I start to write the songs for the record. You know. As a matter of fact, for the last record, I was listening a lot to like Storm the Streets, and I wanted to do a little bit more like classic punk stuff. Yeah. So the songs are a little slower, but it's more like a Ramones kind of. So it has a little bit more like a Ramones vibe, you know, not fast or anything, but it is more like a groove because the early Ramones record, even if they're straight, they have a groove, you know.
Yeah.
There's always this. Like the Tommy Ramone had even if he was just doing this,
it's not just doing that, you know. There's a lot to it.
That was the idea, actually, to go a little bit more backwards, you know.
Sorry.
And but to answer the question, I think listening to punk rock is you know, listening to music is a mood thing. When you're in the right mood to listen to punk rock, when I sit at home and with some people at home, and it allows it. We listen to Dead Kennedys, we crank it up and to a Black Flag or Screeching Weasel or Toten Hosen and or Ramones. And when I'm just having a nice evening with my girlfriend, we listen to Petula Clark and Lulu.
And
you know what I mean? You know, and the Beach Boys.
Yeah.
You know, and cry like crazy. Yeah,
don't cry.
Yeah, no, good. We have another question. What's the best thing about being on a Californian punk rock label?
That we never get there.
That's actually the saddest part of it. Yeah, I mean it's cool. It's I like the fact that we have a label in a country that we actually can't go and tour in, you know, because they're still basically, you know, making sure that we're relevant there, you know.
Yeah.
Even though we can't go there and tour and promote ourselves there through those tours, they do this for us because they have. So that's really good, you know. It's for us.
But besides the fact, I mean, America, like United States and England, are still since the 1950s still the leading rock and roll countries, right?
Yeah.
So.
Fair to say.
As a band from Europe, to be on a label from the United States is still even if we can go or not, it's still something very
absolutely,
very cool,
absolutely. That's very cool, and I'm happy they never saw us play live. They never met us in person, and they actually signed us. You know, and that's
well, they saw us once.
They saw after they signed us. After the
they
first
were like,
record,
how can we get them out of the country?
And they put out the next record. So you know, so good. You know, but
any news on the fact that you maybe will be back one day and play in America?
That question.
There's the question.
Yeah, sorry. No, I didn't say how was it on what happened. We all know now, you know. But
yeah.
Didn't you get the press info?
You didn't
about
get the
questions
memo?
not to ask.
I'm saying like, what's the news of? Because I'm sure one day you will be back into the country.
We haven't given up on it yet, you know, and actually a proper tour can happen, you know. I mean, it's just a matter
pricey.
of
it's just pricey.
It's a matter of money, you know. It's very pricey, and it can only be like official, like, you know, venues and shows there, like that are paying us, because only then can we apply for a visa to go there. Because to apply for it, you have to list the shows and list what you're going to make, and then pay accordingly.
Unless we just go to Mexico and join the caravan. With the guitar.
With the guitars.
at the snare.
Yeah, what do I do with the
between all this Mexican people? I just wanted to play in the backyard.
I'm sure you have it easier playing a Mexican than I would,
Probably.
But actually, we have the answer of Athena. She was in the Troublemaker video long time ago.
Okay. I have to check it out. I can't picture this video right now, but I will check it out for sure.
Yeah. From the Red album of Weezer.
Yeah, I know the song.
Nice, yeah.
I know the song.
Yeah. And yes, there is something. Let's see if there is. Awesome. No, it's great. I mean, I would like to be in
Franz, in how many Weezer videos were you?
Exactly. Thank you. Yeah,
I think I have a video of you at the Weezer show in Bologna, right?
Of course, I was on stage. I was the only guy.
You also went backstage. You also went backstage.
Did they told you the story about that?
Yes.
They told you what happened? I was the only one. I had all access areas for some reason, and even there was believe me, the biggest backstage open air on this huge event with a few people. Basically, it was only punk rock.
It was a private Weezer show.
Exactly,
right?
And there was no one. Believe me, no one in the backstage. It was so sad that they brought the big light show with the Weezer, and they didn't even turn it on. But I don't know why. They didn't even care about turning on their own light show. And I was in the backstage, and it was only me and the band. And I had the Hawaiian shirt, so everyone working at the show thought I was in the band because they said okay, this freak must be in the band. He must wear. So I was on stage filming from the stage, and then until their tour manager or manager saw me and basically told me to get out. And then I was waiting because I really wanted to meet them. There was no one there. Believe me, no one, no one in miles. And then I was there alone, and the manager came again. It's you cannot stay here. And it's well, I have an all access area. So all access, not only few access, all of them. It's no, you cannot be here. And then I will move 5 meters around, and they will come back. It's you cannot stay here as well. And then I will move to another area, and it's you cannot stay here. So at the end, I could not see the band. But they were really pissed off for some reason, maybe because they were not playing Raduno and they were playing, another band.
I think so too.
Totally.
I think so too. You should
get them on Raduno.
Yeah, I want to get them at the Raduno. He's probably. I mean, it doesn't depend on me. I think it depends.
If this will ever happen, I don't know what to say.
Please make a promise, make a wish. If the Weezer play Raduno, what method from DeeCracks will do? Please tell me.
That's the first time I will ever be in the first row of a band that I've never been, and I will just worship them. That's something that I never did for no band.
Okay. Not even the Ramones.
No. Ramones. I remember a Ramones show in. I saw the Ramones twice. I saw Ramones in Linz in Austria at the Mondo Bizarro tour, and then there was the final tour in Pordenone, Italy. And in Italy, it was I was trying to go in front of the stage, but then there was the first song started, and I was removed automatically, 20 meters back, with 500 feet in my face, and fists and everything. It was it was what this people was going. And I was literally, the people were it was war. It was war in front of the stage. Everyone was I kill you for being here, So I could only see them from more.
So Weezer, if you are listening, that's what you're gonna get. If you
Rivers.
Excuse me, Mr. Rivers.
Mikey
Rivers,
is
if you
right.
listen-
I have a official Weezer lunchbox from the Green era. So
Nice.
will
But-
we be able to listen to the version of Not Today sung by Matt somewhere one day?
Maybe.
There is a version.
Hmm.
Yes,
Uh-huh.
we recorded it.
Yeah.
We also recorded some additional songs that might also be very interesting to some people. But it's not out. It's not out yet, of course, because we didn't just record the songs for the last record. We recorded way more. So
Okay.
we also recorded some cover versions, and we approached some people to collaborate with us, and maybe it's going to be very interesting for some people someday. Let's see.
And now you
Yeah.
have to say this. You have to reveal.
No, I
something.
can't.
Okay,
Yeah.
sorry. So we can expect some new material soon and a collaboration, I guess. We can say this.
Well,
Let's see if somebody wants to collaborate.
we went on. We have some B-sides and we had some cover versions, and we were approaching some
The
people.
DeeCracks Weezer split with like
that
Rivers
were
singing
very-
our songs.
No,
and you
no,
sing
Rivers
Weezer
Rivers
songs.
didn't answer the emails, but somebody.
We
has-
have a connection here. We have a connection. Michael Marty is true. He met Weezer because of the
Yeah.
Green. So it can
He
be our
he sold
connection.
guitars to the bass player, or like a bass guitar or something, and he stayed
Guys,
with
it's
him
done.
at his house in LA or wherever they live.
Yeah, so come on.
I think
Yeah. So
we
everybody
are
met
closer.
Weezer but you.
Exactly. We can get closer than we are closer
Yeah.
than what we think. But I really believe that one day, maybe in 10 years, if I'm still alive, we are gonna get like Green Day or Rancid in the stadium of Bergamo. We are gonna do Punk Rock Raduno there. I have this.
Why not?
this
I mean,
vision.
but the question is why not?
I hope
Yeah.
one of the Raduno bands is as big as them in 10 years, so they play the stadium. That's what I actually
maybe
hope, 'cause-
DeeCracks. Maybe DeeCracks.
Yeah, like us.
We
Sure.
did
And then
collaboration.
Weezer can open for us. Rivers, if you're still
I
listening.
think I think the main obstacle between these bands playing the Punk Rock Raduno or not is not the band. It's
It's
the
true.
people it's the people in between.
In between.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
but
are-
you know what?
that are thinking it's not cool for the band to play
It's
there,
true.
right?
It is true. It's
Yeah.
true. But at the same time, I believe this: punk rock is what makes this possible. Because if you see like Punk Rock Raduno, we don't have, we know this. We don't have the budget to do a real festival. We don't have the budget even to fly like smaller bands. Like we do this, and you know this well because you always came basically to lose money. And all the bands that collaborate to Raduno comes for a reason. And we were talking with Dr. Frank from Mr. T Experience or Dan Vapi. They come just to have fun because
Or
they
CJ.
like the community. Or CJ, CJ is the perfect example because CJ has an international booking agent, and he forced the agent to work with Otis in Italy. And when we offered him to do Raduno, he said, like, I do what I want. Besides, I come anyway. But if we went through the agent or their official, booking agent, like we will never be able to make it happen. So I really believe one day we will get Tim Armstrong or Billy Joe Armstrong to come and say, like, you know what, I'm gonna play because this is my home.
I think so too.
Or this,
Sure.
I think so too.
You can probably get Billy Joe Armstrong with one of his other projects or so.
I mean,
like with
can I say this about CJ
Sure.
for the last tour that we did? The final CJ Ramon tour in Europe.
Yep.
There was also another band scheduled to open up for him, but it was a personal request from CJ to have DeeCracks as an opening band. So, CJ was personally requesting us to open for him, so they were more or less.
Yeah, it was really nice. Yeah.
So they were more or less deleting the other band. The booking agency was more or less had to do as he says. So there was another band actually scheduled.
Yeah.
I know which band. I don't want to say.
I don't know which band.
I know.
Give us some gossip.
No, I don't want to. But it was a personal request from him for saying, okay, this is the final tour, and I want this band to open for us on my last tour. And the booking agency had to live with it. They didn't like it, probably.
Yeah,
they weren't happy.
They weren't, really happy about it.
Because the band that was intentionally to tour with them was, of course, part of their rooster, right?
Yeah.
So it would have been easier.
Yeah.
But
Do you think in
we're
general
not.
punk rock at that level is getting too corporate in some way?
Yeah, definitely. At least, I mean, too corporate. I mean, it's always hard to say. Like whenever a punk band gets more successful, they instantly get a lot of heat for it too.
I think that people are just milking the cow as long as it's dry.
And you can't really blame them because there's little money involved, and whoever is actually living off of it, they have to like make decisions to do it to keep it that way. And yeah, I can't really blame the whole thing, but it's
System,
that's how the system works, really. If you want to call it that.
But
punk has a system. Isn't that bizarre?
I think that the methods say like they use the right word. Like sometimes you have the feeling that they are milking the cow, like bands like the agents with bands like Bad Religion or NoFX. They are basically forced to come back every second year because there is no other NoFX or Bad Religion. But no one is investing in newcomers, which is a really stupid idea in a business level, because these bands won't be able to tour anymore.
Can I say something? Like the punk rock stuff is only as corporate as you want it to be, because you have to be interested in the young bands, and you have to. It's all up to you if you want to support them or not. So you go to see young bands like you don't have to go see Social Distortion and. I mean, even if they're all great bands, no doubt,
Yeah.
But you can also be interested in what's going on in my local venues, and there's a young band coming, and those are actually the shows that are really worth going to see, because that's where you're going to see the real bands. That's that's the real, like, face to face, in your face kind of rock and roll kind of music, and. It's all up to you what's corporate or not. You can still support whatever you like, and you don't have to care. I mean, you can still like. Of course, there's nothing wrong about liking Green Day and the Offspring, and the same bands that are around for forever. But in my opinion, like when I was a kid, when I was younger, in the mid '90s, I had my first band. We were kicking out bands of the shows. We were kicking out people of the shows that were older than 30, because we were saying there's no room for the dinosaurs. So we only wanted to have young kids at the show. Because we felt like we're doing something on our own. Of course, we were inspired by older bands. Of course, the Undertones and the Ramones and the Clash and stuff.
Yeah.
But they didn't come to Klagenfurt.
Yeah.
So we had to do it on our own. But then we were saying, what the fuck do you want? You go listen to your Schlager music.
I mean, the big bands, they have to stay relevant, and they have to stay corporate a little bit, because they're still like opening doors for people to come in, because they're kind of like the flagship kind of thing too. So, when there's like a 14-year-old girl getting into Green Day or so, and like 5 years later, she's at Raduno cheering on, whoever, us.
Yeah, but that's the point.
But you know what I mean? Like,
but that's the point.
It has to start somewhere.
But that's the point. The 14-year-old girl that gets into Green Day, she should have easier access to all the bands that are underneath.
Sure, and that's not given. That's not a given. You have to dig for it, But that's what makes
you
it
really
all
have
like.
to find out about it.
Sure,
but it should be easier accessible, right? There should be the girl, the 14-year-old girl that says, I like this Green Day song. She should also be there should be, I don't know, like a Spotify recommendation or whatsoever from, let's say, I don't know, the Travoltas or
listen to this,
whatsoever,
Mikey from the April said, like, it's said that even in Europe, the big festivals only book the big American punk rock bands. When we wanted to celebrate 15 years Apers, we could not get into the gross rock. And this is sad. I mean, I don't want to judge, the decisions of other people, but at the same time, I want to say this is not only bad because of taste and because you're talking about one of the best punk rock bands and most influential bands in Europe, and they deserve it. But it's also a bad business model and being bad at your job, because if you don't care about what's happening in the underground, you're booking a festival, music festival, you don't have that change, because suddenly one of those bands that you didn't book will become relevant, and I also always been like this. So in my opinion, I cannot accept this, because everyone can book their own festival and decide the band's playing, but at the same time I cannot pretend to hide the fact that I think this is a really stupid in a business level, and
but
that
Franz,
yep.
But Franz, can I say something? It was always like this. Do you remember in the 90s there was the Bizarre Festival in Germany? You remember that?
Yeah.
The Bizarre Festival. I played there with my first band. We played there in 2000. We played there with Limp Bizkit and Foo Fighters and Blink 182. Yeah, it's an alternative rock festival, right? It's an alternative rock festival, but they at this time already they had an alternative stage. At an alternative rock festival, they already had an alternative stage. What does it mean?
Alternative of the alternative.
Yeah. What does it mean? Is it well? Actually, I remember I was thinking at the time. So actually, the alternative stage to the alternative festival would mean there would only be the mainstream bands playing on the alternative stage. Yeah. But it wasn't the case.
Yeah.
There was the little bands like us, for example. We were playing on the alternative stage of the alternative festival. So we were the alternative to the alternative. What does it mean?
No, I mean,
so it was always like that.
I think, if we had more, not only punk rockers, but people passionate about music, these things will not happen. That's the big problem, people passionate with music. And we have many examples. Come on. Like we have like bands like, artists like CJ Ramon, but I'm sure also bigger bands like, I have a friend in the Rise Against, and, there is like big bands like deciding who is going to be their like support act, and they decide to go for really small bands, so you still have these beautiful examples of people, or we had the Green Day with Pansy Division, or with the Riverdale. So we had so many examples. So I think
Green Day is a great example for the time when I'm not a huge Green Day fan, I have to admit. I was never, also when I was a kid, I was never into it. But what I also went to see them with the Riverdales when they played in Vienna. Wiesn, close to Vienna in 1995, I think it was, or 6.
Thank you, Mike.
And I remember a lot of my friends went to see them in Ljubljana with the Mr. T Experience the year before. And but I like that. I like that they brought out all these bands,
Yeah.
And but as I was saying before, it was the last time. When did it ever happen? When Nirvana also brought out a lot of bands. Nirvana brought out Mudhoney and Sonic Youth. All these bands that were existing.
They were as successful as Riverdale.
But those were all bands that were existing before them. But they were feeling like they have to. I mean, Guns N' Roses on their first tour brought out the Fastbacks. Right?
Fantastic.
On the first Guns N' Roses tour, the opening band was the Fastbacks. So because they thought people need to hear this, But it doesn't really happen like this anymore, You can't really,
I think you have less control now. You have to, and people maybe have less balls. Just like you said before, CJ decided, no, we are not gonna go with the band that our agent wants. I'm gonna go with the band I want, or I really.
But it's very, very rare. It's very rare.
It's the only time. It's the only time we've been ever asked out to tour with somebody. Usually we tour on our own. We've never been touring with any bigger band or like anybody else. That's on
it's not. I mean, it happens. Like I remember the Hives bringing Harry Fiat's Open Soar, when they were really on top of the game, and they bought, the worst band they could bring along. Which is really fun. It's like, So
Of
no,
course.
it happens sometimes. Not the worst in the music level, because Henry Fiat's Open Source is fantastic, but it's a band that no one of the Hives crowd back then, when the Hives were mainstream, wanted to see. It's like, because they are this hardcore legendary Swedish band, and stuff like that. So now I think still happens. Sometimes it depends by the people and the band. So that's also why I think it's really important to people to understand, why it's important to, to grow the next band and stuff like that, because it's just, I don't know.
But it's
Again,
but it was the same. For example, when Green Day brought out the Riverdales. I remember when we went to see them, the people here in Austria that went to see Green Day, they knew Green Day from Dookie, right? They didn't know them from Lookout Records, so they didn't know the opening band. We knew. I remember me and a handful of friends. We went to their show just to see the Riverdales, and there was 100 people in front of the stage to see the Riverdales, and everybody else was in the back. And the Riverdales were done. The 100 people went back, and the other people went in front to see Green Day. It was the same thing. There wasn't that many people that were like, okay, I only know Green Day from a Basket Case and When I Come Around, and this song by the Riverdales, I don't know, I Want to Be Alright is also great. I lost my connection.
Don't worry.
I'm not here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Of course, absolutely. No,
To be honest, I remember even when I went in Pordenone, when I went to see the Ramones and Senza Pensa was opening for them.
Yeah,
I remember.
Of course,
there weren't that many people inside to watch the opening band.
Yeah.
Most people were outside, and then when the Ramones came on, everybody was streaming inside, right? But that's the way it is.
Yeah, that's the way it is. Still, the fact that they bought Senza Benza for those shows is really relevant. Still today, it changed a lot of people. It changed their career. It changed,
Sure.
It's just.
Well, they also had the record produced by Joey Ramone, right?
Oh yeah, of course they did. And it's gonna be
a certain badge of honor,
It's gonna be the next installment of our series of live shows. Senza Benza live record at Punk Rock Raduno. So
it's definitely a staple. It's definitely a staple from Italy. You cannot mention Italian punk rock scene without this band, because for me it was the first Italian punk band I ever heard of, because I went to this Ramones show. I went to this Ramones show, and there was Senza Benza opening.
Yeah. No. I mean, thank you for saying that.
I didn't know Manji.
Thank you for saying that, because not so many people outside of Italy knows it now, and they don't know how relevant and important they were, even for like the Mangis, the Pee-wee, all the bands that came after. They were based on Senza Benza work, and Senza Benza opened. With a famous compilation, like they opened the market for, not the market, but they really paved the way, for a lot of bands.
Yeah.
So now maybe they got less from outside of Italy, then bands like just went on to do their career, and they showed the world that there was a punk rock in Italy as well, and that we were able to do that as well in a good level. And but Senza Benza really deserved a lot, and they are still here, like supporting Raduno. And it's really fantastic that those guys, they still have the passion, and they come to every show and stuff like that. So that's the kind of people we need in the scene. And thank you for noticing that. And of course,
I still have I have the poster at home framed.
Yeah, I have that too.
It's very important to me. It was an amazing show. And I was very impressed by it, and the name Senza Benza ever since then was just stuck in my head, because for me it was something else. It was in 1996. I was 17 years old, and it's like opening for Ramones. I was like, you got to be somebody to open for Ramones, especially in Italy. Compared to the Austrian show, the Ramones in Austria played for 200 people. It was a small venue, 250 people, I would say, maximum. And then in Pordenone was the hockey stadium packed with 5,000 people. you know?
Yeah.
And the people were going nuts, you know? So it was a different world. And by that time, when I was 17, Italy for me was what? Was Grado and
Lignano.
and Lignano and sempre, sempre. Sempre in olio. You know?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But now the next time in Italy is gonna be at the second worst Raduno in Bergamo, not Lignano, not, and the 17th is gonna be the day of DeeCracks playing, guys. We could go on and talk for like hours because we didn't even touch the surface, because we could talk about Alf, we can talk about wrestling, we can talk about Weezer, we can talk about punk rock, we can talk about a lot of things. But I think for now, like we have,
We talk about the rest at Raduno.
Yes, exactly. We talk about the rest at Raduno, and I just wanted to say, first of all, we cannot reveal what's next for the band, but the new record is out. Is it sold out, or people can still buy it right now?
The second press is here now. It's on blue vinyl, like blue transparent vinyl, and yeah, it's still available. You know, luckily we had the second press ready, so yeah.
Fantastic. So
yeah,
where they can get it?
Oh, at piratespressrecords.com at their shop. You know, they sell and ship worldwide. So, you know, because they have a shipping in Europe and a shipping in the US. So, you know, that's pretty good. And also, like, go to Striped Music, you know, for all of our merch, and you can get the CDs there and the records, of course, too. And yeah, wherever else, you know, just Google it.
Fantastic. So, guys, again, thank you so much. Is there anything you want to say or to end up the interview? Or
I want to say hi to Paul, because he's not here and we haven't said hi to Paul yet.
Exactly, it's true.
I'm not sure if he's watching or he's still asleep. I mean, it's a Sunday night.
Still
you know what I would like to say
already.
Paul is still sleeping.
Paul translated the Bad Religion. He translated the Bad Religion book in German,
Yes.
and I'm really impressed by that. And I would like to know his opinion, his honest opinion out of the book about that book, because I was really disappointed by that book. So I want to know his opinion. Yes.
Why
boring,
disappointed?
Because it's really boring.
Well, maybe it's not so honest.
Or maybe it's too honest.
No, it's not honest at all, because all the good things about happening to, not the good things, but all the juicy things I want to know about.
The scandals about a band always come out after at least half of them are dead. You remember with the Ramones?
Too soon. You think too soon.
What did you know? What did you know about the Ramones when they were still alive? Nothing.
You're right. Yeah.
And as soon as they were dead, everything came out. Scandal after scandal. Everybody was an asshole. Everybody was crazy. You know,
right.
Before that it was just the Ramones, an American band. You know,
I think it's too soon to be a book, but I was particularly disappointed by that. So I just wanted to know his opinion, because he translated it, and he probably got paid already, so he can tell us the truth about this.
We played with Bad Religion once, and I remember them being.
They were so nice. They didn't talk to us at all. Like, we didn't even meet them. We shared a stage with them. We didn't even meet them.
The drummer I talked to.
Yeah,
at the time.
Yeah, because you were outside smoking probably, and then they were coming there. They stayed in their nightliner the whole time and just walked on stage and played.
Barbecue on the nightliner.
Yeah.
Wow.
I talked to the sound engineer and the lights guy. Like, those are the guys I talked to. Yeah.
But it was a great show.
It was a great show. It was cool to play with them for sure. But I wish we could have get an impression of them. The only impression was like they don't care about the supporting band. They don't want to meet them. So
Yeah, but again, that's the same probably that we spoke about before. Sometimes probably they had a bad day. So
Sure. Yeah. I'm not judging. Still, just saying as it is.
But I'm not judging them either.
No.
But still, the thing that the book of one of the best and most influential and smartest band, it should be better. It should be more honest, as Matt says. It's like it seems like a really long press kit. That's what you feel like when you read those kind of books. Really long press kit, wrote by some.
Well, nowadays you have to be careful what you're saying because everything can be used against you.
Yeah, well, yeah, but
And if you're a band starting in 1979 and you live through the entire 80s, you might have done a lot of crazy things that are not cool in 2021 anymore, and you better not mention them.
Yeah,
even if I think you should mention everything.
But then why writing a book? If you don't want to mention.
That's the point. I think everybody should be honest about everything. I mean, the people that are honest about everything they do, they are constantly attacked anyways because they are being named and they are being blamed with everything, right? The people that are honest about everything they do, they are constantly under attack. Like people like whatever, like Ben Weasel or Fat Mike or whatsoever, Those are people that whatever they did in their past, it's a,
I understand. But it's the most interesting people, and the most real people, because the thing is that people want to hide the fact that a lot of people have duality. You have some good parts and bad parts. You do good things and bad things.
Like everybody, right?
Makes you feel real. Which is the big problem right now about cancel culture and the fact that people they don't want to forgive anyone for what they do, which is not like we don't. Of course, we have rules and we stand for some, things, values that we really care for. We always say this, but at the same time, we fucked up many times in our lives. I guess me myself, and I don't want to be condemned for like a stupid thing I did back in the day, or you always want to give people,
Sure.
The benefits.
I mean,
of
you
the doubt
live and you
sometimes.
learn, right? I mean, we had this before.
Exactly.
The thing is, you have a punk rock musician or a rock and roll musician or punk rock in general. I see punk rock is one of the most honest music genres that you can get, because a lot of musicians in punk besides the people that sing about fictional stuff, of course. The secret agent here and there, for the 500th time. But as a matter of fact, you have a lot of punk rock musicians that are very honest, and sometimes people, when they're honest, they also reveal a bad side of them, but they're still human. They are not over everybody. Think about Jeff Berg, which is one of the coolest, best songwriters that we have in the last 25 years, in my opinion. And all his songs are super personal, right?
Yeah.
There's hardly any fictional stuff in it, right?
Yeah, it's true.
And sometimes it reveals a dark side. You would never attack of course you can analyze the lyrics and say, I have to attack you on this. But do it. But why? It makes no sense.
It's true. It's true. I agree with you.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with you. And I think sometimes being honest make you vulnerable. But at the same time, if you're really honest, and punk rockers can have the skill to say like, I just give you the honest truth, and it doesn't mean that if you can wash these away, you can be untouchable, in some way. So that's what I feel about Bad Religion. We respect Bad Religion if they speak about the fact that they fucked up with signing a record deal, or if they fucked up with drugs, or if they fucked up in fighting to each other. You can do that because you're in a position that you can speak, and I will love you and buy your records and coming to the show anyway. I love you even more if you tell me, which was the good part about the NoFX book. They've been honest. I'm not a NoFX fan, but the fact that they've been totally honest about a few things made me, respect them even more.
Absolutely. That's the thing, that's the thing about, for example, like Didi Ramon. What's the interesting part about Didi Ramon? Is it that he is a good songwriter, or is it that he had such a crazy life and he was presenting his life at some point.
Yeah, it's all of it.
And everyone was like, wait a second, what the fuck is going on?
It's the full package of Didi. Yeah, no, but you're right. You're right. You're right.
But you got to be honest about it. You can't just say, yeah, I'm like anybody else.
It's
not.
Also the good part about life and the Ramones in general. The Ramones are the greatest band because they reflect many different individuals. They were totally different to each other, and they hide the fact that one was kind of liberal or democratic and one was right wing, or one was 60s influenced and the other was different. That's what makes the formula great. The difference in between them. If you just want to Yep.
But don't forget that in the past, apparently the political view was not as important as it is now. Now everything is political.
True. It's true.
I used to have friends, or I could be friends with somebody who had a different political view than me. It's now almost impossible. You can't. Everything is political. You know? Yeah. It's like, no, you're an asshole. And gone, right? That's what it is.
Yeah.
And I think in the past it was a little different. It was. I wish we could go back to this time where we could agree on basic morals.
Is a polarized world. Even in festivals and stuff. Sometimes I believe me. Like last week, I read we announced like Judah some time ago, and I read some comments of a couple of friends of mine say like, oh, it's like, I'm really shocked that, Punk Rock Raduno is having Judah because they are the worst band ever. And it was like,
why are they great? I think they're great.
Exactly. Besides the fact that they are great and everyone knows that, it shocks me the fact that, you're talking about the festival of one of your friends booked by, not a big agency or anything or McDonald's. You're talking about your friends putting up a show, and then you even have the balls to judge them depending like, oh, this year is really shitty because there is this band I don't like. It's like, come on, like really you want to? How little you are to do that? You are.
It's okay if you don't like it, but
exactly. But at the same time, it's like you're putting this too much. Who cares? We don't do it. How many bands we are gonna see in our life, seeing beautiful shows that we don't like personally, or there is even bands in Raduno. I like every band at Raduno and every people are at Raduno, but of course I have preferences. That doesn't change the thing. Who cares? It's like we don't do this because I don't go to a place or to a show or listen to music because I have to. It's like. To divide in between what I like perfectly and this is all other stuff is shitty people I don't agree with. It doesn't work like that.
Live and let live.
Yeah. Well. Anyway. So, again, guys, thank you so much.
It's all about an open mind. Let's end it with that.
I agree. I perfectly agree. And that's why we can talk about so many beautiful things and be positive and go from, Weezer to, Pet Sounds to punk rock to CJ.
Well, especially with music. It's all about an open mind. You just listen to it when you're in the right mood for the right music. It's perfect. It doesn't matter. When I'm sad, I'm not going to listen to Seek.
Why not?
No, when I'm sad, I listen to the Ronettes, or I listen to Beach Boys Today or something like that, right?
Yeah.
When I'm in a good mood, I listen to, I don't know, something fast and something funny.
Yeah.
It's all about an open mind. We go to a lot of different shows, and and everything makes sense, right? We went to see Tom Petty on the last show in London.
I'm really envious about that.
We were going to see Weezer. We went to see Brian Wilson. We go to see Bruce Springsteen. And on the other side, then we go to see. Bruce, what?
I should mention the fact that
is he playing the second worst Raduno?
Yeah. Where's your T-shirt?
Maybe one
Franz,
day.
where is your
Exactly.
T-shirt?
I was mentioning this because I was wearing it yesterday. One of the top 3 present I ever got from someone was from Matt, and I must thank you for that. It's like now I cannot wear it for a specific reason because I have a really hairy shoulders, and I don't want my shoulders to be seen. I'm not joking.
You can shave your shoulders just like Homer Simpson did.
You know, I forgot to shave my shoulders before
I
the show. So
forgot
it's like
to
I cannot,
shave my
I
shoulders.
cannot.
Maybe you can wear it. Maybe you can wear the Raduno if you don't have to wear your Hawaiian
I will.
shirt.
I will. So
Underneath,
basically, Matt gave me this beautiful T-shirt, like with the shirts, with the you know, how do you say, like
Sleeves.
you know, the sleeves cut off, and it's a Springsteen T-shirt of the River from the staff of that tour. Correct?
Original.
It's like it's a beautiful original. So it's one of the best presents I ever got. So it's like probably in the top 3 of presents, and I got beautiful presents, believe me. So thank you so much again, and I will wear it when Weezer is gonna play at Raduno, and I will be
No, you're gonna wear it when Bruce Springsteen is gonna play at the Raduno, right?
Yes, exactly.
Bruce Springsteen and the Manges.
Yeah. Yeah. Why not? Bruce Springsteen and the Manges. Yeah.
No,
I would like to see that. Did you ever? Why no one ever recorded like "Hungry Heart," which was the song like the Springsteen wrote for the Ramones? I mean,
because I could never figure out how the original version that he was intentionally writing for the Ramones would have sounded like.
Yeah,
it's definitely not the version that he recorded because it's not a Ramones song. I could only picture it a little bit like Chinese rocks, like a down and down and down, like this, you know. But I cannot. I was. Believe me, I was with Jagger Holly. I wanted to do this, you know.
Okay. Yes.
For the new Jagger Holly record, I was thinking we're gonna record "Hungry Heart" in the Ramones version, but I couldn't figure it out.
You have to figure it out. That's the next mission. That's the next mission.
Maybe we should get a contest out there. You know, everybody has to figure it out, and let's see.
Maybe we should ask him.
Because I mean, it's already one of the best. It's already one of the best songs ever, and one of the best Springsteen songs. It would. I mean, imagine how great it would have been. You know, with the Ramones performing it,
with Joey singing it, you know.
Yeah, but they still would have gotten on the radio. It was still an underdog thing, and the song would have disappeared.
Who cares? We would have had another beautiful song.
We would have loved it. That's for sure. We would have loved it.
Of course.
But I have to say, I think that Springsteen made another Euro with this also.
I think so.
He could make a golden garage.
That's what everybody wants.
Yes. Guys,
buy a Fiat and the golden garage.
Wow.
Franz, we love you.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love you. And again, I will see you soon.
Yeah.
See
you in July.
More than one month. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
We can't wait.
The important is that keep doing what you do and don't change. Okay.
Yeah, we don't intend to. Maybe only clothes.
Let's try.
Perfect. In the meantime, I will shave my shoulder. Don't worry.
Shave your shoulders for Raduno. I'm gonna come check.
Love you guys.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for listening. And we will talk again next Sunday. And be in the lookout for new announcement of Raduno and DeeCracks buy their new album. Bye.